I gave the other ticket. Before we begin our ceremony, please take note of the exits to the right and left and in the balcony. Should there be an emergency, you will hear an audible alarm or receive instructions from the podium. I would also respectfully ask that all cell phones and other electronic devices be on silent for the duration of the ceremony. In addition, when the time comes, we will be taking photographs of all graduates receiving their diplomas. There will also be a photo taken of each graduate after they have received their diploma. Information for purchase of the photos is available in the program. At this time, I would ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and to remain standing after the pledge for the singing of our national anthem as sung by our own husky harmonics. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Welcome to the parents, siblings, grandparents, and additional family members and friends of the class of 2018 who have joined us today to celebrate this milestone moment, along with our Board of Education, Dr. Wool, District Administration, and the faculty and staff of Harrison High School, and the administration and faculty and staff of our elementary and middle school buildings. And as the principal of the high school, I am privileged to be the first to welcome our Harrison High School's class of 2018. As you may know, a ceremony such as this does not come to fruition without the work of many hands. I would like to thank those whose tireless efforts have made everything come together into this memorable moment for our graduating seniors. First, thank you to our music leaders that are here today, Charles Bream, Deanna Lorster, and Megan Test. A special thank you to all of our custodians, teacher chaperones, and clerical staff. In particular, I would like to thank Joe Santo, John Eric Sapala, and Deirdre McQuillan for their organizational work, as well as thank our guidance office secretaries, Victoria Battaglia, Joanne Lederer, and Lisa Di Tommaso. And you may have talked to her rather recently. A special thank you to Lorraine Fontana, who somehow managed all of the difficulties with tickets. And Kathy DiCarlo, who has been preparing for months for today's graduation and is responsible for all these beautiful flowers and many other things today. In addition, I would like to thank the high school's PTA and our co-presidents, Lisa Smith and Cindy Lopane, for their work on behalf of our students. They're also sitting amongst you. They have 2 graduates today, each of them. And our PTA for hosting our reception after the ceremony. Also a thank you to Harrison Education Foundation for their financial contributions in making many of the opportunities our students have experienced become a reality. I want to thank the administrative team I work with at the high school. Our assistant principals, Lori Griffo and Larry Mastrota, our director of guidance, Kelly Malcheski, and our director of athletics, Christopher Galano. They have had a large hand in today's ceremony and a larger hand in the experience your child has had while in high school. And I want to recognize our school board and Dr. Wolf for their leadership and vision to create a place where the core values of equity, access, rigor, and adaptability don't live on paper, but instead are alive in the beliefs, teaching, and actions of our faculty and staff, and those core values are alive in each of our 2018 graduates sitting on the stage today. These guiding values are what serve as our direction. They are the map we follow to our destination and always help us to know exactly where we are. I don't know how many of you are like me and have become reliant on your car phone GPS or Waze to serve as your directions. How many times you, like me, have said to someone, I don't need directions, I'm just going to put it in my phone. Well, I recently had an experience while driving back to my hometown, which is Binghamton, New York, and I was talking to somebody in the first 30 to 45 minutes of my trip, and they asked me where I was, and I said I wasn't sure, that my phone had rerouted me because of traffic. And I was headed in a different route than I would normally go, and I had no idea if I was heading at all in the right direction. I promptly ended my call so I could get back to listening to the guidance on my phone. I always say that a great joke to play on me would be to take over my phone GPS, because you could send me to Canada when my destination was Florida, but I blindly would follow the voice on my phone giving me directions even if I started to see snow. Later in that same trip, the same friend that had called me from before called again to see if I had arrived safely. I explained that I was only a few minutes from the home of my family, but had gotten off the highway due to traffic. My friend asked if I needed again to get off the call so I could listen to directions, but I said that wasn't necessary. I then explained that you can land me anywhere in Binghamton and I would always know where to go, even if it was a street that I had never been on before. I just always knew where I was, and I knew the right direction to follow. There is something very comforting about that, about always being home and always knowing where you are, never lost, and being clear about your direction. Harrison High School class of 2018, you will never be again gathered as one group together. There will be high school reunions in your future, which some of you will attend, but this will be the last moment all of you will share together as a group. However, no matter where you are, you will always be home. You will never be lost or unclear in your direction, because the direction of home is embedded in each of you. Our core values are alive in you, and you are the manifestation of those values. Harrison High School has a unique practice in selecting our student speakers for graduation. A group of students that have earned the SUMA designation gather in a room with faculty advisors to create a list of 4 to 6 qualities they value in a graduate of Harrison High School. They then select another committee of faculty advisors that meets and selects from amongst the SUMA students a speaker that they believe is the embodiment of those qualities. The final step is for the SUMA students to gather one final time to select a speaker from amongst the entire senior class that they believe also exemplifies those same qualities. As I sat silently listening to the conversation this year, I heard a total of 24 qualities or characteristics they valued in a graduate to represent them as a class. Words like inclusive, vulnerable, trustworthy. That list of 24 was narrowed to a final 6. Passionate learner, empathetic, engaging, socially conscious, resilient, and integrity. It is no irony that these qualities emerge from an education where the map or directions are equity, access, rigor, and adaptability. You, class of 2018, you have led by example and have made an impact beyond us as a school community. You are the embodiment of our core values as you leave for your next steps and go off to far away and maybe not so far away places. Know you will always be home. You will never be lost or unclear in your direction because the direction of home is embedded in each of you. And we look forward to the next steps of your greatness that are to come. Parents and family and friends of our graduates, your children are special, and we thank you for sharing their greatness with us. They have lived up to every hope in what we want our students to become as they set out on their journey with clear direction, always knowing the way. I would now like to welcome to the stage someone whose work as an advocate for the students of Harrison Central School District began 15 years ago as a member of the Board of Education. She worked to create the conditions for this vision to live and for your children to grow and flourish in their education. Mrs. Joan Taberzi.
All right, how many of us never thought this day would get here? So fellow trustees, Dr. Wool, Ms. Buchema, administrators, faculty, and staff who join us this evening, friends, family, fellow parents, and graduates, I am so excited to welcome you here this evening on behalf of the Board of Education. Class of 2018, let me be the number 2 to congratulate all of you on what you've earned here tonight. As a parent and school board member, I have had the unique and often front row view of your journey throughout the past 13 years, and I can't tell you how grateful I am for that experience. 2005, that was a big year. First, it was the year you all started kindergarten. And second, it was the year that our school district rolled out its mission of opening doors and creating schools where every child matters, regardless of who you are or where you came from. Graduates, that means that from the minute you walked into Preston, Parsons, Harrison Avenue, and Purchase elementary schools, all the barriers to your learning were gone. You were not limited to follow a predetermined track. Instead, you are encouraged to challenge yourselves and to take risk. Absolutely nothing stood between you and your definitions of success. Your parents and the entire Harrison community stepped up to support this mission and make it a reality. Every single school employee, regardless of title, embraced their roles beyond job descriptions as mentors, caregivers, and champions of our children. On behalf of these graduates and all of Harrison's students, I thank all of you for your dedication to our children. In class of 2018, you took advantage of every opportunity, and you even asked for more. You've achieved unmatched success in the classroom, in the community, on the sports field, and on the stage. And graduates, we opened the doors for you, and you not only burst through them, you knocked them down. You realized that opportunity was only half the equation and met every challenge with hard work and perseverance, not only to ensure your own personal achievement, but with equal passion for the success of others. You cheered from the sidelines, applauded performances, tutored classmates, and had held countless study groups in the student union and online. Frankly, as your parents, we were amazed that so many faces could group chat, or shall I say group study, all at one time. However, one thing was always clear. You genuinely cared about each other, oftentimes more than yourselves. These graduates are a special group of young men and women, and over the past few months, many of you parents have stopped to tell me that. Everyone has something to say about them. As a matter of fact, even the bus drivers from prom night made a point to tell Mr. Mastroda, "We see a lot of kids, and these are good kids." So in preparing for tonight, I didn't want to limit my words to only one perspective, my own. So I spoke with teachers, your guidance counselors, your coaches, principals, our parking attendants, and security guards. And they had a lot to say, and it was all good. Quite frankly, I was moved listening to their stories. But after my conversations, I began thinking, just what is it that makes you so unique? And why is the class of 2018, as one person described, a group like no other? Here's my take. You do things differently. You are accepting, you are inclusive, you are humble, and you are kind. You are a group of students with big personalities, and whether quiet or not so quiet, you have found your voices. You make yourselves known and heard. However, as big as your personalities may be, your hearts are even bigger. Throughout your time here, you were leaders in the truest sense of the word, not necessarily in title, but always in action. You did not let others define you, because you defined yourselves. From the minute you walked into LMK, you did not see each other in terms of elementary school or gender or race or background or politics. You accepted each other as unique individuals, respected your similarities and your differences, and embraced imperfections. You found a place for everyone and created space for new students and made them feel welcome. You supported each other without judgment and without fanfare. And you understood that a great community is where we are not all alike, but where diversity is valued and differences are celebrated. Class of 2018, you did all that, and that's what makes you special. You have changed Harrison High School, and you leave it a better place. So as you go, continue to approach all you do in life with the same vigor and spirit you brought to school each day. The world you will face presents great challenges, but I believe even greater opportunities. Now I'm supposed to offer you some sage advice on heading out into that world, but instead I want to pause for a minute, and I want to thank you for what you've taught us while you were here. You have taught us to find the good in others and raise them up, not tear them down. You have taught us to be kind, because kindness goes a long way. And you have taught us to accept people for who they are, not who you want them to be. Your fearless acceptance of others has challenged the rest of us to follow your example. I am confident that as you enter the world beyond Harrison, you will make the places you go and the people you meet more tolerant and more inclusive, just as you have done here. Graduates, on behalf of the Board of Education and all the parents and families here this evening, congratulations. We wish you the best as you embark on your life's journey. We are so proud of you, and we love you.
And now our choral director, Megan Tess, will lead our senior chorus members in Seasons of Love.
Minutes, 525,000 moments, so dear. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter and strife. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life? Seasons of love, seasons of love.
Thank you. A very appropriate song for our class of 2018. And now I am pleased to introduce to you the first of our student speakers. She is a student who does not take the easy road with her academics. She is in fact a full IB diploma candidate. In addition to her academic contributions, she is an integral member of our high school who served on Relay for Life as part of the Event Leadership Committee. And throughout her time in high school, she has been a member of Students for World Health. Our speaker is known for her positive spin on any adversity she faces and truly believes any struggle will make her a better person. I know her bright and shiny smile will be missed in the halls of Harrison High School, but we wish her good luck as she heads off to Syracuse University. Class of 2018, your senior class president, Jane Abi Habib.
Thank you, Ms. Bukema. Graduates, family and friends, Dr. Wool, Ms. Bukema and the administration, Larry Mastroda, it is an honor to be in the presence of you all today and to have served as the president of the senior class for the past year. As we gather here tonight, it is with understanding and pride that we have completed a major phase in our lives and that we are about to embark on a new journey. Today is the day that we have constantly prepared for throughout our 4 years at Harrison High School. 4 years filled with countless hours of homework, studying, crying, mental breakdowns, more studying, and even more crying. I don't know, maybe that was just me. I have attended schools in the Harrison Central School District since kindergarten, where I first attended Parsons Memorial School. Each Harrison school provides a comforting environment with friendly faces all around. And I can honestly say that every school I have attended has left me with memories that will last a lifetime. One thing that has stuck with me the most throughout my 13 years here has been that our class has always been faced with some sort of change. We usually served as the guinea pigs for changes in curriculum, and it didn't always come easy. We were the first ones to be introduced to the Common Core exams for math class. As you can probably imagine, the first year came with a series of complaints because we had to take 2 exams as opposed to 1, and we're all faced with the hysteria of the Common Core test being significantly harder than the regular Regents exam. Despite how we may have scored then, I realize now how being challenged at that young of an age really prepared us for the work we were given in high school. When we were freshmen, the International Baccalaureate program was introduced to the high school. Though we weren't very familiar with the concept, the program had especially grown from that point until we got to take those classes as juniors. While our friends in other schools were taking AP and honors classes, we were taking IB, a program that not many people are familiar with, but certainly had a lasting impact on all of us. Changes in curriculum weren't new to us. One of my favorite stories to tell is from the 4th grade when we were just beginning to learn division. Math was never really my strongest subject, but my dad was great at it, so he always tried to help me through. I came home one day and asked him to help me with my division homework. As he looked at the page, all I saw was his expression change to utter confusion. As it turns out, we were being taught a completely new way to divide that stemmed away from long division. This method involved expanding out all the numbers across the page and using about 10 parts to complete the problem. While it was tedious, it always resulted in the same solution as any other division tactic. After explaining how this new way worked to my father, he got frustrated. He couldn't understand how we just changed math. I mean, math is universal, right? So how is the math that I'm being taught any different from the math he already knew? Dad, like Mr. Incredible, wasn't very supportive of this new method. He tried to teach me long division, and well, you guessed it, I started crying. Whenever my dad would try and change my understanding, I would run away. I began to have a phobia of long division. At one point, he tried to send my older brother to teach me while he was visiting from college. I ultimately ran and hid under the table. It's okay, though. I know how to do it 10 years later. I know how to long divide. The point of this story is to show you all that we as a class have become so accustomed to change, even from a young age, and always power through it. Change is a word I have constantly heard throughout my high school years, whether it be us students changing, our class curriculum, becoming a bring-your-own-device school, having a new principal come in, shout out to you, Ms. Bukema, hello, not being able to go down to the fire pit for the Harrison vs. Viking pep rally, we're still mad about that, the physical image of our school and the beautiful sounds of its constant construction, or not being able to go to the bathroom for the first 5 minutes of class. It just always seemed to be present. But the change wasn't all bad. Our curriculum turned over to Google Classroom, where we were able to do classwork on our computers. Despite the fact that this no longer meant we could get away with not doing our homework on sick days, we were really able to expand how efficient and successful our learning was. It takes a lot of responsibility and trust to allow students to have a computer screen in front of them, but I sincerely believe that it benefited our school and our curriculum greatly. The change is inevitable, but what is not inevitable is how we choose to handle it. Not only was our grade faced with change, but we also created change. While researching commencement addresses online, I came across a speech that Joe Biden had given at Wake Forest University in 2009. True to his campaign slogan, he talked a lot about change. Change in our economy, our government, our environment, and our relationship with the world. But to me, the most striking message of his speech was the fact that our generation, no matter what we do, will see immense change. The type of change that's written in history books, the type of change that could forever alter the way in which the world works. But, he said, you can affect that change. So, although we may be 4 years behind those graduates Joe Biden was speaking to, I think that same responsibility and opportunity falls on our shoulders. Our generation is that cause for change. Students in Harrison have administered a successful walkout against gun violence, organized 4 annual Relay for Life events raising over $100,000 each year, sent 13 classmates to DECA Nationals in Atlanta, Georgia, gotten a golden gavel at Model Congress, created the first online school store, made it to the section finals for the first time in girls varsity basketball history at Harrison, and our debate team was nationally ranked #1 for more than half of this year. I could go on, but we'd probably be here for hours. My point is, we're capable of extraordinary things, of producing extraordinary outcomes. We've already proven that, and we're only at the beginning of our journey. But the thing with our grade is that we were always especially ready for change. Lunch tables were constantly filled with conversation of college and of the future. I think we sometimes forgot to just be kids. But now that change is here, as my fellow classmates sit behind me on this stage with all of our caps decorated with those colleges that we may or may not have predicted we'd be attending since the 9th grade. The weight of our backpacks certainly changed, as over time we went from a 2-inch binder per class to 1 folder and a pen we may or may not have found on the floor. Our confidence levels changed. In comparison to that first day of school as freshmen, we now walk with our heads held high, now knowing that all that we can and have accomplished over the last 4 years, and that it's just the beginning. Our dances and our cool kid slang has changed. We've progressed from the whip nay-nay to the dab, from YOLO to lit, and everything in between. But within all of that change, we have grown into mature and successful young adults, and I know each and every one of these students sitting behind me will do such big things in the future. So, to the class of 2018, I'll leave you with this. For today, goodbye. For tomorrow, good luck. And for forever, go Huskies.
Well, I told you when I introduced her that she could take a positive spin on any adversity, so thank you, Jane. Always with a smile on his face, Quinn Perini approaches life with such a positive demeanor. It's not that he does not experience stress and challenges like any other student in high school, But he finds that he is better able to problem solve and work through difficult times when he remains calm, level-headed, and optimistic. It is also why those around Quinn find him to be so approachable. It is his character and personality that makes him an appropriate and ideal member to be a part of our Student Advisory Board, where his leadership is recognized as his voice represents those in his class to serve the student body and help to build community in our school. An International Baccalaureate IB Diploma candidate graduating with summa cum laude academic recognition, Quinn has consistently sought for academic opportunities to grow as a learner and as a student. Quinn has a genuine desire to make a great impact in the world, and he is committed to one day being a leading innovator in our society. A varsity athlete with active involvement in football and baseball, Quinn has devoted much time to train, practice, and compete in sports. Though humble and never seeking for recognition, Quinn was acknowledged in his junior year as the most valuable player in our varsity's football special teams. As captain of our varsity football team this year, he is a mentor for our young athletes, showing them how determination and perseverance can bring you far. We at Harrison High School will miss Quinn, and we look forward to hearing about all that he continues to accomplish at Harvard University. And now, our faculty-selected student speaker, Quinn Perini.
(2000), the year which most of us were born, was supposed to be the end of the world. They called it Y2K. Computers were going to fail, clocks were going to freak out, and banks were supposed to collapse. But instead of the apocalypse, it was truly the beginning of a new millennium. Instead of shutting down, the world lit up. And, of course, out of the chaos that led to unimaginable innovation, we were born. We have been witnesses to 18 years of change, unprecedented in history. 9/11 shocked the world just as we were learning how to walk. In elementary school, we elected our first black president and watched Hurricane Katrina devastate entire communities. In middle school, we went from flip phones to smartphones, CDs to unlimited online music. Today, we have self-driving cars. We communicate through Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, pay each other using Venmo. We use Alexa and Siri. The word selfie is in the dictionary. We can Google any word and ask any question. Why is the sky blue? How do I make pancakes? Where's the nearest Starbucks? We can share any moment, talk to any person. We don't even need to speak in full sentences anymore. TBH, smiley face emoji, LOL, hashtag we made it. We lived through 12 seasons of SpongeBob and saw him make it to Broadway. We binge-watched Netflix, explored YouTube. We use energy more efficiently than ever, store endless information in the palm of our hands, shop on Amazon, can get one-day shipping, use GPS to find anything, anywhere. We talk into our watches. We Uber. We survived Ebola and the Kardashians. We accept gender fluidity. We experienced the Me Too movement. The US and North Korea actually met. And most impactful of all, lockdown drills became the norm in our lifetime. These things defined our politics, our social lives, and our visions of the future. This is us. And if this was the first 18 years, what's next? What's next is limitless. What we know and what we were raised to understand is that anything is possible, and we can see this in our class's achievements. We have triumphed in playoff games, jumped 23 feet without wings, won academic accolades. We are artists and dancers, scientists and mathematicians, storytellers and singers. We are leaders and activists. We are kind and empathetic, creative and inspirational. But most of all, we are resilient and able to overcome failure. But where will this take us? What's next? At 20 years old, we will vote in our first presidential election. At 25, human organs will be printed on demand. At 28, we'll be able to travel from LA to San Diego in 12 minutes. At 30, the first human will have reached Mars. At 34, robots will cook our meals. At 35, autonomous cars will be ubiquitous. Our biggest discoveries are waiting to be found, and our most monumental achievements are waiting to be created. Our teachers, our coaches, and our parents have guided us to this point, and they have given us the chance to push our limits. What's next is that we push ourselves and that we push each other. I cannot wait to return to Harrison in 20, 40 years, see the progress we all have made as doctors, lawyers, musicians, teachers, entrepreneurs, law enforcement, etc., and how we have pushed the boundaries of our chosen professions and changed society as a whole. That is the power of our class, the Harrison class of 2018, and the opportunities are limitless. You see, Y2K wasn't the end. It was just the beginning, our beginning. And we have the opportunity to define the millennium. And we aren't alone. We have our friends, our family, and our teachers, even our digital assistants, that have been with us and will continue to be with us every step of the way as we grow as individuals and as a group, as we change society. Today is the end of something great, but tomorrow is a start to something better. There are no limits, and we, the class of 2018, are fearless. What will we do next? Thank you.
Thank you, Quinn. Sarah Birnbaum is filled with grace. Grace permeates all that she is and all that she does. Over the past 4 years, she has carved a path of inquiry, learning, curiosity, risk-taking, partnership, communication, charity, artistic expression, respect, and friendship through the halls of Harrison High School. Sarah strives to push herself to be the most she can be academically, but more importantly, she strives to learn, to make connections, and to solve problems both in and out of the classroom. She recognizes that the diversity of her community is an asset, that she has much to learn from those around her, and that varying perspectives make for deeper learning and opportunities. She has deliberately placed herself in uncomfortable positions so that she might grow, even at the risk of failure. Sarah has displayed a level of resilience that inspires. Therefore, it is no surprise that she has been elected to speak at graduation by a group of her peers. Sarah represents all that we strive to be at Harrison High School. And now our student-selected speaker, Sarah Birnbaum.
This past school year, I was blessed to be cast as one of the leading roles in the musical, Seussical. After 3 years of living in my comfort zone as a featured dancer, I was drop-kicked into the deep end of the pool. Except this deep end was on fire with like 3 sharks and a couple clowns, and it was dark and there were black holes. Don't get me wrong, I had some basic skills. The directors don't cast blindly, but I've never been in the spotlight. And I felt completely vulnerable. I was given some of the best advice I've ever heard by fellow castmate and senior, Caitlin Fiery. She told me to use my butterflies. At the time, I wasn't sure what that meant, because the feeling I had felt a lot more like yesterday's dinner than fluttering wings. The thing about playing Cat in the Hat was that I wasn't just playing the mysterious, magical cat. I was playing his multiple personalities as he created the narrative. A doctor named Dr. Dake, a television personality, a newscaster, a reporter. Dr. Dake was originally designed with a German accent. My German accent sounded like you put Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sofia Vergara in a washing machine. So we changed the character and decided Yiddish was a better fit, and I was back in my comfort zone as your local Westchester Jewish teen. Oy vey. But the worst part of it all was the improvisation. What? No script? Uncomfortable. I can operate incredibly well within my comfort zone. When I was 5, I started dancing ballet. I worked hard and was motivated exclusively by the promise of an ice cream date with my teacher. Under specific direction of what to do, I was the first kid in the class to get her splits, right and left. I've danced for 13 years and followed directions so well that I was also the first in my class to get my point shoes. In my middle school years, I was an avid perfectionist, always striving to do things just right. My mom loves to remind me of the time I cried hysterically before entering the 6th grade because they wouldn't tell us exactly how much loose leaf to put in each of our binders. Yes, I've relaxed a bit since then. Mostly. I didn't spend 2 hours working the formatting of my extended essay for nothing. Ballet is comfortable for me because I'm always being told exactly what to do. Point your toes, plie, dance this combination. There's a certain rigidity to it. Everything in ballet is structured and defined. There are 200 different movements, and in ballet, you're told how to scramble that vocabulary. I joke that I have to join a dance group when I'm in college because I don't believe in real exercise. I'm a lost cause trying to independently navigate gym equipment. Surprisingly, I'm more comfortable in a class where someone is screaming at me. Ballet felt comfortable because being told what to do is comfortable. No one is telling you what to do when you need to improvise as the lead in the musical. We cut some improv scenes simply because I could not handle them, but I had to improvise for the auction scene because it was supposed to have audience participation. We actually ended up scripting the section and creating plants in the audience. Of course, in the very last show, some twerp way in the back row yells, 50,001 as I'm finishing my joke. I became paralyzed. I brushed it off and beat myself up for not coming up with a witty comeback. The 6th grade me who cried about the loose leaf paper was screaming. That kid in the back row broke script. Harrison is our comfort zone. In many ways, it has provided the script for our lives to this point. The Harrison community has supported our risks, our failures, and our dependence on Pizza 2000. Within Harrison, each of us found our first friends, our passions, and some sense of home. As we all graduate and enter the next chapter of our lives, whether it be working or college or traveling, we are all about to move away from this shared story and often predictable script. Soon, there won't always be someone telling us what to do, and our days won't contain the familiar rhythm of life in Harrison that makes us comfortable. And that is nerve-wracking. My mom always told my brother and I that nervous and excited feel the same, and use positive self-talk. Don't get me wrong, positive self-talk is great, but I don't know that it will unpink my laundry or teleport the friends I'm going to miss to New Hampshire. If there's one thing I wish to leave you with, it's to know that when faced with the almost inevitable discomfort that comes with change, we have a choice. I think that the expression fight or flight is missing an F, and that F is for flutter. There will be a little twerp disrupting the script that yells 50,001, and we have the choice to use our butterflies instead of being ravished by them. Discomfort is inevitable and necessary as we move forward in life. When someone breaks the script, it forces us to choose. We can avoid discomfort, We can succumb to it. We can be paralyzed by uncertainty. Or we can choose to channel it and decide to create our own narrative. That is both scary and empowering. Learn to recognize and embrace that awfully unnerving feeling as excitement for new challenges and new experiences. Feel the butterflies and push that energy through your body. Push it into your muscles to take the leap, into your voice to speak up. Audition for that club you've always had an interest in. Walk into your dorm room and meet your roommate. Start that first day of work. Join that movement for social change. Use your butterflies, because when those butterflies all flap their wings at once, they can propel you to do great things. Thank you.
At this time, Dr. Wool, I have reviewed all of the credentials of the class of 2018, and they have all met the criteria under New York State education law to receive their diplomas. So at this time, I am both pleased and proud to present to you the Harrison High School class of 2018.
All right. I've waited a long time for this class to arrive. First, I want to go back one step. First of all, weren't these speakers brilliant? I do want to mention our Board of Education. They're sitting on both sides of the stage, and I want to just take a little bit of a walk so that you can understand. Jane, you talked about all the change that you endured. The change was supported by 7 volunteers, one of whom is leaving today after 15 years of service. I just need you to think about that for a minute, because the only payment the Board of Education gets is a bottle of water at every meeting, and it's usually Kirkland water. Mrs. Taberzi has served 15 years, and in a rough calculation, I came up with over 300 nights away from her family. Those are nights she devoted to making this happen for your kids. Now, I have known this class probably better than they realize. I've been to, I'm the only person in the room that can say this, every one of their concerts, elementary, middle, and high school. With one exception, I did away with recorder concerts because that's similar to waterboarding. And I also don't go to kindergarten sing-alongs because actually kindergartners can't sing. The only people that think they can sing are their parents. So our school district is based on an ideal. And the ideal is that everybody on the stage is completely different. We believe in the theory of multiple intelligences, that you learn differently, that the roads that are open to some of your classmates might be closed to you, and it's our responsibility to find some different roads. And Jane, you couldn't have set me up any better because you referenced all the change you've had to endure. Now, how many of you have more than one child, right? Everything I did with Ashley Ann was an absolute failure with Eve Elizabeth. It just didn't work. We've built, and you're raising your hand, I'm so sorry. It's typical. But what I think you will learn tonight is that some of the transformation that you've talked about was deliberate, and much of it might have been unnoticed. Can you cue the presentation I put up in the back? We don't have a clicker, so you're going to have to bear with me. So that is the superintendent. Look how young I was. Reading to this kindergarten class of 2005-06 at the Parsons Memorial School. You can tell I was very young because I was reading Rashenka's Eggs, which is not a very good story for kindergarten. Can you flip to the next slide? So when we talk about transformation, we typically focus on the obvious. Everybody know who that is? Can you see the name? Tommy McAdams. Somebody switch to... I, too, asked a lot of people their opinions, and I could have put any 6 kids up here. I chose the 6 that kept coming up for what I thought were the most compelling reasons, primarily their humanity, because the academic success of this class, just to be clear, has never been equaled by any other class in the history of Harrison High School. Now, I don't know Tommy well. I wish I knew him better, but every time his name is mentioned, he gets more applause than anybody else. I don't understand. If you saw the Relay for Life video, Tommy was the genius behind that. He's a photographer. If you go to Mrs. Griffo's office, you'll find hundreds of photos. She's apparently collecting his work in advance of his impending fame. And this year, his real strength is in building community. He brought to Relay for Life our fire department, our police department, and our EMTs, because this is a class that has figured out bringing people together is the single most powerful thing you can do. So congratulations, Tommy. And as you can see, Tommy's been here since kindergarten, Harrison Avenue School. Next slide, please. Any guesses? You should be able to see her name. Somebody yell it out. Fallon. Another person, I talk to guidance counselors, I talk to teachers, I talk to administrators, I talk to students. This is the name kept coming up, coming up, coming up. Show the other picture. I could tell lots of stories. The one that was most compelling to me was Mrs. Garcia, one of our phenomenal Spanish teachers. Let's hear it from Mrs. Garcia. Had her family devastated by the hurricanes in Puerto Rico, and they came here, and Fallon took it upon herself to make a traditional meal and deliver it. And in life, it is the small things that make people know how deeply you care. So congratulations, Fallon. Next slide, please. Louis G. Who said it? Under his yearbook picture, it says, map out your trip, but do it in pencil. Next slide. There we go. Baseball player. Everybody that talked about him talked about what a good person he was, what a good friend. But the story that touched me the most, and it came from 2 different adults. Apparently his grandma was invited to make cookies. Do you remember this, Louis? Where are you? And the thing that impressed them was not your grandmother's cookies, but the amount of respect and care that you demonstrated for your grandmother, and the amount of love that you... It was so memorable that 2 different adults remembered it several years later. It's the small things in life that transform people and the way you're seen. So congratulations, Louis. Next slide, please. I confess to having seen every one of Megan's shows because I go to every show. This is Megan Margiotti, a Parsons Memorial School graduate. She was in the kindergarten class of Mrs. Susan Vendola, who's actually retiring this year. Congratulations, Mrs. Vendola. Can we see what Megan has grown up to look like? I don't know. I don't see that much difference in any of these kids. They maintain their smile and their innocence. So Megan is another amazing person. And we tend to categorize people. She's an extremely talented singer, dancer, actress, and so you would think that's the road that she's going to follow. But I had the pleasure of writing a letter of recommendation for Megan this year. Megan is all about serving others. She was integral in building the Buddies program, which is a program that many of our students participate in that serves our phase population, our most severely disabled kids. And she started the chapter of Autism Speaks in our school. Those are legacies that live. Congratulations, Megan. Next slide, please. Oh my God. No, it's not God. Yes again. Anybody? Cameron. Cameron. Yay, Cameron. Maybe one of my favorite stories that anyone has told me. Obviously, everybody has a different experience in life. Not everybody gets to walk an easy path. But joy and find joy in life is what Cameron brought to his relay team, but to his school. Two teachers, who, when he was on the junior class officer, said to me, he's the kid you have to include. So you've had an effect on lots of people, adults and children, and your classmates. Congratulations. Next slide, please. By the way, no one knew who was going to be up here, and this is a surprise to everybody but the band who saw the preview. Can we see the other picture? Everybody know who that is? Alyssa Dantona. Another person whose name just kept coming up. And when you ask teachers, it's interesting when you say, what is so special? They rarely talk about grades. They almost always talk about character. And there's one story that was told by two different teachers to me about this young woman, is that she sets an extraordinarily high standard for herself. And Mom, if you're out there, inspired by her mother, so that, just for the record, we do not have something called a senior cut day. And some people actually adhere to that despite peer pressure because it's important that you live up to the standards you set for yourself. Congratulations. Next slide, please. Well, you see how cute he's become now. So Mark is probably the person on the stage, and maybe even in this room, who understands better than most of us the significance of making sure everybody is included. Incredibly generous soul. I encourage you to look in the yearbook and look nearby. He's doing something that is not typical and very admirable. He'll be going to the U.S. Naval Academy at Annapolis. Two words kept coming up, though. Extremely good friend and an extremely good brother. So, congratulations. Next slide, please. This is one half of a dynamic twin duo. This is Savannah Holmes. Can you bring in the others? Other than the earring, no change, right? So, another name, and it's impressive that some students are consistently making an impression with their character. I was extremely impressed when I looked at her science research project and realized that she was concerned. Some people worry about the next day. She was studying the tragedy of the Flint, Michigan poisoning of the water and trying to figure out what are the long-term effects and is there any way to prevent that from going forward. She also is Very involved, as I mentioned earlier, was some of our other folks that we recognized in the Buddies program, which serves the phase students as well. But the single most compelling thing is everybody said this, and there were 6 people that said it, the hardest working student we know. There is value in hard work, there is value in commitment, but there's certainly value in giving back, both in your school and long term. So congratulations. Now, I mention that because I wanted to go back to this theory of multiple intelligences, and particularly of the idea of what has changed since we've been here. This year I had to have a talk with you guys that was not very happy. So when you were in kindergarten, there were no security guards in our district. You didn't sign in to school. There were no cameras. It was a different world. And this year I had the very unfortunate task of going to meet with the student body after the tragedy at Parkland. Our students handled it differently, I think, than many others, and they made me quite proud. I struggled with them because they wanted to be activists, as what they should be. And I explained to them, while I agreed with their opinion, and there's probably folks in this room that don't agree, that when they walked out to demonstrate in favor of stricter gun laws and making schools safer, that they would all get a cut. Because I wanted them to understand that the rules apply to everybody, whether I agree with you or not. And by enforcing those rules, I'm really encouraging you to have deeper conversations with those that may not agree with you. Because real change, real transformation, lives in our ability to hear one another. Some of you have actually read my yearbook letter, which I appreciate, and the question I pose to them is, are you listening? Are you really listening? Because most of us don't truly listen. We listen with the intent to prepare our answer. And listening is what this class has demonstrated time and time again. Let me show you a little magic trick, though. We're going to go into a little bit of a time warp. I need your help. So if you were cum laude, magna cum laude, or summa cum laude, stand up, please. Stay standing. Okay. So why does this even matter? Because this is part of what Jane was agonizing about. There's been a lot of change in our school. One of the changes we made was, in the old days, the kids that would stand at that stage would maybe be a fraction of a point better than somebody else. Now, statistically, it's meaningless, and it makes kids competitive for all the wrong reasons. This is about supporting one another and encouraging everybody to do what they can. And we return the voice of who stands at that podium to the students. They chose the speaker, and the faculty chose the speaker based on the contributions that those people make to their community. You can sit down. If you were in debate, stand up. Nationally ranked debate team for the last 5 years. Last 5 years we've also had the #1 debater twice. DECA, stand up. Tech crew, stand up. Nobody? There we go. Theater arts and acting. If you took any courses with Mrs. Haberly, stand up. How about dance? If you were in the dance program, stand up. Friends of Rachel. Science research. GSA. Okay. They're all juniors. Topics in pre-calculus, if you took it in 9th grade. Did you take topics in pre-calculus? Stay standing. These are kids that decided to take 2 maths at the same time. Topics in pre-calculus. Please sit down. How about AP World History? How about AP Statistics? How about AP Calculus? Things don't happen by accident. Things don't happen by accident. When they were in kindergarten, there were 11 kids that took calculus in Harrison High School. Everything has changed because we have created the conditions for great kids to do great things. Have a seat. How about multivariable calculus, or calculus 3? Not that I'm bragging, but I am. We are the only high school in the state of New York that has multivariable calculus, and if you know Mr. C, he may be among the greatest teachers in the world, and we probably have more kids in multivariable calculus than Syracuse University. How about orchestra? I just have to do this. How about you're in orchestra and you play football? What the heck? Digital photography. How about AP Computer Science? How about you're in the Buddies Club? You work with our FAYS students. IB Design and Technology. Anybody? There we go. IB Diploma candidates. You know why this is really important? So we're a U.S. News and World Report Gold School. IB predicted we would top out at about 20% of our class being IB. This is 36% of the class. And thank you. But here's what makes us most proud. Nobody's left out. Anybody that wants to try, tries. And guess what? It hasn't decreased our performance, it's increased our performance. How many of you, this better be all of you, took algebra in 8th grade? Unless you weren't here, you did. Stay standing. Everybody stay standing, please. So here's my point. Remember those beautiful kindergarten pictures? None of those things, not one of those things that were on that list existed when these children were in kindergarten. In 8th grade, when they were in kindergarten, now the entire class is standing, 26 children took the algebra regents, and they all got mastery. This year, again, 100% of the middle school took the algebra regents. 97% were proficient and 52% were mastery. When you believe in people and you support them, anything is possible. That is what we want them to leave with, to understand. You don't have one child that you favor over another. There's not one person on this stage that is more important than another. The lesson that they've learned, and I've seen it and I've heard it in the way they behave and the speeches that they make, is that they have figured out that caring about each other and lifting each other up is how we make the world a better place. So I don't know about you, but I couldn't be prouder of the graduating class of 2018. Thank you for playing along. And now it's time. This is the part I read. Time to forever be transformed from the senior class of 2018 to the graduating class of 2018. And so, having been presented to the class of 2018 by our principal, Kimberly Buchema, and having verified the credentials of each, I attest that the members of this class have met the standards, regulations, and policies established by the New York State Department of Education, the New York State Board of Regents, and the Harrison Board of Education, and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Education and the Commissioner of Education, I hereby publicly and officially certify that the members of the class of 2018 are eligible on this day to receive their diploma, signed by the principal, the President of the Board of Education, and the Superintendent, to now and forever signify them as graduates of the Harrison High School class of 2018.
At this time, I would like to welcome to the stage Assistant Principals Lori Griffo and Lawrence Mastrota for the reading of the graduates' names as they are presented their diplomas.
Jane Joyce Abi Habib. Quinn Goldman Perini. Sarah Bernice Birnbaum. Dean Akildes. Julia Elizabeth Alcoba. Sophie Marguerite Aliaga. Kevin Michael Algretti. Jonathan Matthew Alsina. John Henry Alvarado. Lindsay Jordan Amen. Julia Ray Applebaum. Emily Arujo. Michael Lewis Arlata. Thomas Anthony Arturi. Brian Richard Aslanian. Cassidy Rose Ayala Unda. Kian Azar. Rabe Balidamaj. Genevieve Banza. Sarah Elena Barbieri. Lauren Barbalescu. Callie Bayer. Ryan Justin Beji. Catherine Elizabeth Bell. Alicia Lauren Belmont. Cameron Drew Berkowitz. Victoria Rose Bianchi. We're going to pause for a moment for the first row to come back in. Robert Blue. Sarah Ann Beauvais. Sydney Ray Bryota. Giselle Bravo Brown. Emma Brenner. Cameron George Brown. Dylan Brown. Christopher Buffone. Jamie Caceres. Michael Anthony Capelli. Camilla Lucia Carbone. Simone Carcer. Andrew Carvajal. Giuseppe Casabianca. Natalie Alexa Cacique. Carla Estefany Chi. David Choi. Kelsey Ann Chiffone. Jacqueline Charmella. Alexander Michael Cipriano. Brianna Melissa Cirillo. Lauren Hughes Cole. Alize Michaela Colazzo. Christian Antonio Colazzo. Jake Angelo Colaccio. Claudia Columna. Melissa Contreras. Antonia Rosa Cosmo. Jose Luis Cristaldo. Sydney Damian. Dolly Damian. Alyssa Nicole D'Antona. Spencer Benjamin Danzig. Rita Elizabeth DeTero. Dagmar Witt DeWitt. Jacqueline Michelina DeBald. Cecilia De Leon. Dylan Tyler DeLory. Frank Nicholas DePaulo. Guillaume Detable. Grace Marie DeLeo. Dennis Christopher DiLorenzo. Anne-Marie Daphne Dillon. Zeph Jurasovic. Matthew Donahue. Margot Ducasse. Adriana Marie Duffy. Chidera Lisa Ekachukwu. Ariana Nicole Evangelista. Austin Alexander Evans. Ethan Samuel Evans. Brian Joseph Fay. Danielle Salterine Fernandez. Amy Ferreira. Caitlin Marie Fiery. John Christopher Fiorino. Amelia Lynn Fisher. Alyssa Sydney Fisher. Francesca Forgione. Emily Fournier. Ryan James Froelich. Ishmael Alexander Galvez. Leslie Daniela Garcia. Hector Garcia Camacho. Jonah Harley Gellert. Louis Vincent Giacomo. Thomas Patrick Giandomenico. Brian Gill. Catherine Genie. Drew Simon Grauer. Natasha Isabel Grillo. Megan Anna Gunther. Kayla Elizabeth Guerreri. Emma Guyanet. Giovanna Guzman. Emery Kate Hakim. Ari Jacob Heilbrunn. Nicole Hernandez. Mark John Halushko. Madison Emma Holmes. Savannah Elsa Holmes. Luke Edward Horner. Ray Imai. Dana Christina Infante. Serena Lily Araj. Isha Jan. Melanie Jimenez. Emily Jimenez. Zachary Michael Jones. Victoria Call. Alex Jacob Kaplan. Samuel J. Kaplan. Sarah Rachel Karkut. Daria Rose Kodika. Chana Kim. William Stephen Kirshner. Eric Michael Kopczynski. Pascal Joseph Caracas. Christina Kalinsky.
Avery Grace LaBarbara. Alessandra Ann Lagani. Lauren Nicole Lamana. Stephen Andrew Lambertson. Brandon Harry Landsberg. Madison Amaya Lang. Jacob Colby Leckart. Kevin Lee. Robert Thomas Lee. Kathleen Rose Lino. Samara Kate Lipman. Scott Benjamin Lobel. Dominic Michael Liacano. Isabella Faith Lopane. Johnny Lopez. Adolfo Lopez. Brianna Rose Losito. Lauren Alyssa Madonna. Ryan James McGuire. Angel Maldonado. Eleni Michelle Maldonado de Leon. Alexis Milata. Christopher Mancini. Layla H. Manel. Olivia Marcachuli. Megan Rose Morgiati. Nicole Marinaccio. Tucker Veray Martino. Leah Martins. Alessia Maria Mastrogiacomo. Sally Ann Matthews. Noah Matson. Thomas McAdam.
Behind you.
Luke Michael McCarthy. Roger Matthew McFadden. Cameron Elizabeth Megley. Sydney Danielle Menchel. Tiago Meneses. Tyler John Minetti. Joseph Anthony Modolo. Jake Milano. Matthew Thomas Malone. Eric Michael Maloney. Sophia Marie Monti.
I'm on board with it.
Fallon D. Morell. Kayla Moretti. Jordan Brady Malahi. Matthew Joseph Mulvihill. Samantha Rose Morbido. Christian Anthony Murphy. Joanne Murray. Olivia Nyland. Giancarlo Luigi Nero. Brian Claiborne Newsom. Malik Neves Jr. Gina Marie Nuvoloni. Pedro Edson Oliveira Cuco. You bet. Severina Ann Oro. Victoria Ostromoff. Yuko Otika. Evan Nicholas Pantelopoulos. Kimberly Damaris Pena. Sylvia Camelia Panorama. Ryan Andrew Protak. Margot Wilson Plowman. Jamie Provino. Rebecca Raquel Reynoso. Amelia Janine Resnick. Noah David Rizel. Mark Anthony Regana. Laura Grace Regano. Sally Nicole Rodriguez. Richard Charles Rogers. Jack Bradley Roscoe. Mark Andrew Rossi. Gabriella Marias Rossi. Juliana Marie Rossi. Michael Richard Roselle. Alberto Rosone Jr. Sinead Juliet Wren. Nicholas Saavedra. I think so. Kevin Saavedra. Adriana Elaine Sacco. Sarah Salmon. Raymond Joseph Sanchez. Justin John Sanchez. Simona Maria Santella. Ian Santiago. Justin Brian Santiago. Alondra Clarabelle Santizo. Matthew Allen Schwartz. Joseph Schofield. Vanessa Serna Villa. Hallie Elizabeth Sexton. Taylor Winter Shapiro. Crystal Shaw. Sota Skanai. Brian Michael Siegel. Brett Landon Silver. Max Simon. Peter John Sinnis. Emily Sky Smith. Samuel Brett Smith. Alessandro Javier Solomeo. Carolyn Grace Schultz. Bennett Sonnenberg. Jessica Yulisa Sosa. Taya Renee Carolina Sotelo Sacco. Julia Souza. Carl Vincent Spanner. Christina Grace Sparanice. Peter Spoto. Amanda Stagg. Christina Page Stagg. Benjamin Joseph Stein. Christian Johnston Steins. Juliana Grasso Tanico. Daniela Tapia Serdan. Congratulations. Omar Andres Taveras. Joseph Edward Taberzi. Darren Trapicchio. Roberto Trujillo. Jake Matthew Chantre. Madalena Alyssa Tucci. Daniel Peter Umbro. Martin Hendrisis Maria Van Bussen. Cameron Veswani. Mariella Vecchio.
That's my best friend!
Dylan Vella. Yuliza Velasquez. Stuart Christopher Wallace III. Patrick Michael Walther. Timothy Grant White. Jack Nathan Wolf. Lauren Yamada. Rema Yakizaki. Kyle Young. Antonio Michael Zazzarino. Paige Olivia Zidell. Moises Alejandro Zapata. Thomas Anthony Zink. We're going to take a pause as we allow our last graduate to get his picture taken behind stage and then come back on stage before we continue with our program. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2018.
Well, I know I'm proud of our class of 2018, and I can definitely see you as the parents are extremely proud of them. At this time, I would like to welcome to the stage our senior class officers who are going to lead our seniors in the tassel exchange.
I never feel pressure.